On this edition, we look back at the award for finishing the Giro last, the Maglia nera.
Noi siamo sponsor del Giro d'Italia, la RCS. Io ho chiesto tanti anni, per tante volte, facciamo la maglia nera e la sponsorizzo io.
And we celebrate some of the most impressive solo wins at the Giro d'Italia.
What a ride here! An epic ride by Chris Froome. An imperiously masterful performance.
But first, Chad Haga on returning from a career-threatening injury.
Seconds.
Now here's a man who could do a job. Chad Haga, a man from Texas, pretty strong in the time trial.
On the road, Chad Haga.
That day was a sprint workout day. We had a usual spot there about an hour outside of town. The feeling that I remember is just the initial reaction of like, she's in our lane.
Back in early 2016, Chad Haga's career was thrown into uncertainty when he and several giant Alpecin teammates were struck by a car while training in Calpe. The 31-year-old Texan still bears the physical scars from that day, but the path he's forged since has served as an inspirational tale for any rider.
For 24 hours there, I really don't remember much at all. I don't think I lost consciousness. It just may be that my brain was like, this is a memory you don't want, we're gonna block this out. I realized I very easily could have died, and I wondered about my teammates and friends, because all I could remember was the mental image before impact. I was like, oh, we got hit head-on by a car. I'm here, I'm alive somehow, but I knew nothing beyond that, and so that was my first thought. Really, it was all flesh wounds. The impact caused a lot of swelling to my knees, and they were very stiff and lacked range of motion for a while. But it was primarily just flesh wounds. Some stitches to my knee and my elbow, and then a lot in my face and neck. And it fractured my orbital, but that healed on its own and didn't require surgery. So while I was very seriously injured at the moment and had to be airlifted out, I recovered, not the fastest of all the guys, but Criterium International was my first race back.
That's Chad Haga, the American time trialist, who's just requiring a bit of attention and gets back on.
The mental struggle didn't start until I was racing again, really. I adjusted to traffic again fairly easily once I started training on the road, but physically it was really intense, just because the physics of an impact like that, I never imagined the effect it would have on my whole body. So my legs were eager to get going again, but my body was just destroyed at the end of training every day. And it was a lot of work to get back. And then I started racing again, and then the mental side of it started in, where it's just not necessarily just afraid of racing, but afraid of crashing and being hurt again, just in general. So it took a lot of confidence building and working my way back into it.
Having since developed into one of Team Sunweb's key domestiques, Haga has been a regular fixture on the Grand Tour scene over recent seasons and played a decisive role in Tom Dumoulin's Giro d'Italia victory just 1 year after his horror crash.
It's just the most exceptional challenge that the sport offers. I mean, World Tour racing is the hardest level of racing in the world, and then a Grand Tour is stretching it into 3 weeks. There's nothing else like it, and I've always loved the challenge, and this is unparalleled. So just getting to the end of it is really satisfying.
And finishing the 2019 Giro was all the more satisfying for Haga, as with Dumoulin out of the race, the loyal domestique was able to savour some glory for himself.
He's got a shot at this, you know. Chad Haga could conceivably be going to the top of the timesheets. I think he's going to get there in time. Chad Haga has just 10 seconds to get to the line to deny Victor Kampenaerts a stage success. He's going to do that for sure. And at the top of the timesheets, it is Chad Haga of Team Sunweb. Chad Haga, now he's starting to believe. Smiles continue. There are still riders out there, but this is surely the biggest threat to his potential of taking a first World Tour success, first victory in Giro d'Italia. Primož Roglic trying to gain that position. He's going to fight all the way to the line. Is this going to be enough to move him back up and onto the podium? Primož Roglic has completed Giro d'Italia, 9th fastest for the Slovenian.
3 years on from that fateful crash, Haga had achieved his first World Tour victory in 2019.
Put things in perspective. I mean, even a bad day on the bike, you're frustrated with your performance, whatever, but you're like, it's bike racing. Have fun with it. It ends all too quickly.
Dico, andava, una volta c'erano i fienili dove mettevano il fieno, che è l'erba per le mucche, no? Raccoglievano l'erba prima l'estate, poi la mettevano nei fienili nelle case e poi la davano alle mucche. Si chiamavano fienili. E quindi è per quello che qualsiasi scusa o pretesto andava bene. Una casa, una famiglia, un albero, una fontana, una macchina, forse una moto, forse adesso forse c'erano più moto che macchine, loro sempre cercavano e frenavano piano piano, rallentavano, però sempre con il timing, con il tempo massimo.
It doesn't seem like the typical tale of how a rider came to win a Grand Tour jersey, but this is the story of the Maglia nera, the black jersey. Many decades ago, it was presented to the cyclist who finished the Giro d'Italia in last place, a symbol of overcoming hardship. The last recipient of that jersey was Giovanni Pinarello in 1951. A physical jersey may no longer be on offer, but for former winners Jos van Emden and Marco Coledan, it's an honour still worth fighting for.
La storia, ripeto, lo so solo perché sono da Treviso e Pinarello ha fatto una grande storia con la maglia nera. Nella penultima tappa del Giro l'anno scorso mi sono fermato a 300 metri dall'arrivo perché volevo ottenere questa maglia nera dopo tutto il giro che ho avuto. Mi sono fermato lungo le transenne perché non sapevamo quanto era il tempo massimo e tutto e se l'ultimo corridore sarebbe riuscito ad arrivare in tempo. E ho aspettato 2-3 minuti insieme ai tifosi, sono riuscito a fare anche una chiacchierata, tra virgolette, che mi chiedevano cosa stavo facendo giustamente perché anche loro non capivano, però gli ho spiegato e mi hanno ammirato da quel lato là.
The other guy was Italian, so for him it was something, I guess so. In the mountain stage he hid behind the camper and he thought I didn't see him, so I just kept on pedaling. And then after a corner I just stopped and stood next to the crowd and then watched him pass again, and then we rode back to the gruppetto and yeah, we had a laugh about it, and finally at the last K I dropped from the gruppetto. Then he saw that and he hid it in the deviation, or what's it called, yeah, where the cars go. So I didn't see him, but then the car behind me told that he was hiding behind a fence. So I just stopped in the middle of the road, and then suddenly he came out and he rode to the finish.
To the uninitiated, last place on GC would be the placing of a weak rider, but in reality, they are anything but. Often their Grand Tour consists of sacrifice for the team and a fight to stay within the time limit.
First part I had some little injury. Then when I needed to sprint full gas, one muscle was not cooperating well. So I lost the most of the times in the flat stages. When you're a big guy, not a climber, then if you finish, that's an achievement. And it can show that you worked a lot for the team.
Stavo aiutando Giacomo per la volata, però un Uno spettatore si è buttato dentro il gruppo di 10 km d'arrivo, sono caduto io per primo, malamente, ho fatto un'infezione al ginocchio, per quasi metà giro non sono riuscito a pedalare con la gamba destra. Questo mi ha portato a stancarmi molto e sono arrivato addirittura l'ultima settimana con la febbre, però il mio obiettivo era finire il giro perché l'anno prima non avevo praticamente corso ed era importante, sapevo che era importante per il mio futuro.
Although the jersey hasn't existed for some time, there is a willingness to see it return in some form. Two-time winner of the Maglia nera, Giuseppe Fonzi, has taken the award to heart in recent years, even adorning a black jacket on the start ramp of his final day time trial in 2017.
Sono sicuro al 100% lo rifarebbe.
Yes, 100% they should do it. I definitely think they should bring it back. It's for people who already know they have no chance of winning. So why not make a competition for people famous for coming last? I've asked every year on numerous occasions. Let's do the Maglia nera. And I'll sponsor it.
There are few more satisfying moments in cycling, for rider and spectator alike, than the sight of someone risking everything in pursuit of victory. With regular forays into the likes of the Alps and the Dolomites, the Giro d'Italia has provided a number of spectacular lone stage wins over the years. With that in mind, we take a look at some of the greatest solo wins over the past 6 editions of the Corsa Rosa. Adam Hansen famously holds the record for riding the most consecutive Grand Tours. By 2013's Giro d'Italia, the Australian was a quarter of the way through his streak and marked it with the biggest win of his career. Hansen was in a confident move on stage 7, even tweeting about his plans to make the breakaway that morning. Clearly, he was right to be confident, and his climbing legs whittled down the break to himself and Italian Emanuele Sella, heading into the final 2 climbs of the day.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
Oh, it's raining there.
It is. It's wet, and the pace is high, but it's been found out. Emanuele Sella has gone down. Now, where has Adam Hansen gone? And he's up the road. There he is, dead centre, so wasn't involved, but Sella caught out. Well, he's just checking himself out as he relays back on, and that's good work. And Hansen, frankly, has just waited up for him.
Well, Sella's having trouble keeping up with the Australian at the moment. Well, I would absolutely love to see Adam Hansen taking out this stage. 2 professional victories in his career. One of those was the... he's noticed as well. He's seen Sella's in trouble, and he decided that now is the moment to push on. He waited for him after that crash. He says, if you're not as strong as me, I don't need you on the flat roads. I'm just as strong myself.
The lights flare, and it's almost like a grandstand finish. He can afford to just let this one sink in. My goodness, what have I done? I tell you, Adam, you have won a stage of this year's Giro d'Italia into Pescara. Let it be writ large upon the newspapers tomorrow. He's the man.
The Montes Oncolan is one of the great sporting arenas of the world. Unsurprisingly, a group of 20 were determined to save a victory there on the penultimate stage of 2014's Giro. The infamous slopes put paid to the majority of the lead group's chances. 3 riders were left battling the gradients and an increasingly frenzied crowd. That all came to a head when a spectator pushed home favourite Francesco Bongiorno into the back wheel of Michael Rogers. The Italian's rhythm disrupted. Veteran Rogers maintained his tempo to the top of the climb and was just able to lift his hands in the air for a finish line photo to remember.
These climbs, this one's Oncolan, Stelvio, Gavia, they're in the history of cycling, aren't they? So to win, it's It's what I think every cyclist dreams as a child, and for me it certainly is a dream come true.
Tim Wellens had been a disappointed member of that large breakaway back in 2014. 2 years later, on Stage 6's gradual climb up to the Roccaraso resort, Wellens got his opportunity. With the help of teammate Pim Lighart and Trek Segafredo's Laurent Didier, the Belgian bridged up to the day's already exhausted two-man breakaway before launching his own attack at the foot of the final climb. With 15 kilometres remaining and a peloton behind biding their time, Wellens had a cushion of some 5 minutes in which to mountain time trial his way to the top to celebrate his first Grand Tour victory in style.
It was the idea of Pim Lighart to attack to the front, also Tom Dumoulin. He said 5 minutes before, Tim, it's the moment to go to attack. And on the last climb, I was the strongest. I had a very good feeling and enormously happy with this victory.
Questa giornata, Team Wellens, l'otto sudal.
Jan Polantz's first career victory came at 2015's Giro d'Italia. 2 years later, Stage 4's ascent of Mount Etna offered another spectacular opportunity for the Slovenian. With just Jacques Janse van Rensburg, the remaining rival from the breakaway, and a charging peloton making a misturn behind, Polantz's moment came with 16 kilometres to go.
Polanc decides to push on then. He clearly believes that after that impact, he was probably told on the radio, look, just attack, go and try and make it home yourself. 16 kilometres he's got to do.
10 hard kilometres still to go. He still hasn't got to the steepest section. Has come down by a minute or so in the space of, what, 3 kilometres? So on that basis, it could still be a day full of the peloton behind.
3 kilometres to go. The advantage is 1 minute and 21 seconds, and second by second his advantage is ticking down. Has he put enough in the bank to make it count? 49 seconds, he's losing ground really rapidly here. 47 seconds, you can count it down. It's almost like a moon launch right now, and we're on a different kind of landscape, otherworldly. 45 seconds now with 900 metres to go. Every single one of these metres is going to hurt. And he realises, yes, he's done it. This is his day. Absolutely superb. One for the neutrals, one for Slovenia, and a big one for Polanc.
Oh, it was constantly winds and headwind, so it was difficult already after a long breakaway today, but probably the hardest day of my life.
The battle for pink in 2018's Giro had reached its crunch point by stage 19, as a number of challengers looked to displace a fading Simon Yates. One such challenger was Chris Froome, who ordered his team to set a ferocious tempo right from the start of the stage. As Yates cracked, Froome prepared to leave his nearest rivals in his dust.
Froome now, he goes on the offensive, he goes on the attack over the top of this final climb, and nobody at the moment can go with him.
Still a long way to go, 50 miles in fact of the Queen stage, and the Giro d'Italia is imploding on the slopes of the Colle del Finestra. Remember, we still have the climb of Sestriere, we still have the ridiculously difficult climb of the Jaffride to our finishing point, but look at this acceleration of Chris Froome.
A little bit of a conversation there, Dumoulin. We don't know what's being said.
Well, he's now
take that either way.
Well, maybe he is starting to worry a little bit, because 22 seconds now, Chris Froome is relentlessly driving onwards up this climb.
Oh, you can see why you need to keep on top of your fluids. Just look how much he is sweating there.
What a ride here, an epic ride by Chris Froome. An imperiously masterful performance.
Froome's escapades largely overshadowed another excellent solo performance the next day. No doubt, still hurting from the loss of the race lead, Mitchelton Scott placed birthday boy Mikel Nieve in the day's break and let him take flight with just under 30 kilometres to go.
Grosshartner cannot keep up with the relentless pace of this pure climber. Mikel Nieve, 2 stage wins in the Giro d'Italia already, 4 stage wins for his team. Looking to take something else from this race. What a race Mitchelton Scott have had so far. A disappointing one, a bittersweet Giro d'Italia for them, but looking for more success. And look at this. Puts it on the, well, a bigger gear, leans on it. Grosshartner looks behind. His head starts to drop. He can follow no more.
It's not going to be the stage win for him as it stands at the moment. It looks like it's going to go to this man here, Nieve. Still tapping out good tempo.
Wonderful performance by the rider from the Basque Country. Delighted, urged on by the crowd here. He can't believe it. This is an emotional win. Are they tears in his eyes? Well, they're nearly tears in mine, I can tell you that. Mikel Nieve, birthday boy, is the victor here on the final big stage in the Giro d'Italia.
A masterclass from Nieve, and the 3rd time in his career he'd soloed to victory at the Giro d'Italia. That's all for this edition. Until next time, keep up to date with us on social media.